Now I use this right slide in communicating to you or to all my listeners what I would like to take you into. If I'm talking about technical aspects, it's going to be different. Now here I'm talking to you as an budding entrepreneur, right? As an innovator. So when I say an innovator, it's basically creating out of nothing, right? So here is my first slide, which says there is nothing for you to look at. But what you create from now on is what is going to decide your innovative nature, right? This is Sanshu. Sun is my younger daughter, Sunmit. Shubh is my elder daughter. Incidentally, Sun is the sole supplier of power to us. Shubh is auspicious, right? Energy is auspicious. That is the theme with which I basically coined this name. Welcome everyone. Well, we are here. Okay, you have inherited certain aspects of technology. Probably when you go back and listen to your parents or hear from your parents, no one will say that I was sitting in a classroom of this type, right? It is either a small bench or no bench at all, and that too in a hot environment and not in an AC room, right? Now, what do I mean by that? Your parents have learned something, maybe under a roof, but their parents, let's say grandparents, they were learning under a tree, right? So, from the tree, it came down to roof. Now, from roof, it has taken various turns, right? So from one generation to the next, we have been changing the way how we basically learn. We have been changing the way how we basically behave. We have been changing the way how we respect our teachers, right? Do you accept with this? Today, the gap between teacher and the student has widened up. But as you grow, come out of the college, you feel that okay, it should have been a bit narrower. Usually a student comes back to a teacher after the college and asks for help, asks for guidance. This has to be right when you are here in the college learning and spending most of your time. Right? Today students think that teachers are there just to give us some knowledge, some information to us, and we have to write our exam and come out, right? So this has to change, and this change is part of our entrepreneurship. Well, the first and foremost part of it is mark a straight line of conduct and walk along with it, regardless of the crooked turns of others. Now this was a guidance or a path laid to us by our forefather, father of all engineering aspects, M. Vishwesvaraya, right? So to start with, I would ask you people to read loudly so that it builds among yourself and you remember this and start capturing it every now and then. Can we all have your wordings? Loudly. Well, you read it as if you are reciting a poem, right? You didn't notice the comma there. You didn't notice a paragraph mark, right? So let's read it along with me. Mark a straight line of conduct. and walk along with it, regardless of the crooked turns of others. Well, you please repeat it by yourself now. Well, now first time when you said this, okay, I don't know whether you said it or you just read it just because it was asked to be read. But when I made you to read the second time, it was very clear, I believe so. It was very clear that you have a set path to follow. Mark a straight line of conduct. I stop. Now what does this mean? Right? Mark a straight line of conduct. I see nothing what goes on the other side. Right? And walk along with it. When I see something ahead of me, I'm just hitting at that. Right? I don't see any attractive short-term gains that are being laid across on either side, regardless of the crooked turns of others. Right? So this is the first and foremost thing when you have got to be an entrepreneur. Now, how many of you want to be an entrepreneur? Good. How many of you want to be an entrepreneur? 2, 3, 4. You want to be an entrepreneur? Now, what thrill is there in being an entrepreneur? Why should you be an entrepreneur? Let's look at that. Now, again, I know you are going to just read it, but I will read it for you once so that you basically understand. I want opportunity. Is there anyone who says I don't want an opportunity? Does everybody want opportunity? Yes. Say it loud. Yes, good. Not security. I want to take a calculated risk. Do you want to? You don't want to take a calculated risk? You want it or not? Say it loud. To dream and to have a vision of ideas and building. I want the right to fail or succeed based on my own ingenuity, perseverance and self-reliance. I will not trade my dignity for handout nor cower before any threat, nor bend to any tyrant. I want the challenge of life. I want the challenge of life, not the guarantee of existence. I want to stand erect, proud and unafraid. I want the privilege to think and act for myself and take whatever consequences each may bring. Whatever consequences each may bring. I'm pressurizing that part. I want to enjoy the benefits of my creation, to face life head on and to say thanks to those who have lived and died before me and made possible everything that I have and that I am. I am highly thankful to those who criticize my failures. I am highly thankful to those who criticize my failures and the moral support directly or indirectly. Living life to the fullest is the human heritage, the way to fulfillment. Now, what does this say? What does this say? Is there anyone who wants to always hold their head down before somebody else? Any one of you? No, when you become an entrepreneur, when you choose to do something for yourself, when you choose to do something that the society asks for you, when you want to do something for your own loved ones, okay, and you do it with your passion, with your heart, right? If you succeed, you have hold your head high. If you fail, still you hold your head high, right? It is because you are morally sure You are morally courageous enough to tell yourself that I have made my attempts. Maybe I have failed, but I have made my attempts to meet the requirement. Nothing wrong if I have failed. If I have succeeded, yes, the other one benefits out of it. But if I fail, morally you don't stand to hold your head down. Am I right? Huh? So, the basic qualities of being an entrepreneur is basically respect yourself. Now, here, what is important is self. When I say self, you have got to be selfish. Now, when I say selfish, you have got to be optimistic, not a pessimist, selfish. You have got to have belief in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, okay, that what I do is good, what I do doesn't affect the others, what I do will open up avenues for others, will benefit others. Now, what is also equally important is self-confidence. If you do something just because you have been asked to do, you do something just because you have what to do, right? Take a different end. When you do with confidence, okay, like some of you are here sitting just because you have been given a seat in engineering, and that has come by multiple choice. No one or very few will say, no, I want my admission to be in B&M IT. There will be very few who say, no, I want to take admission only in B&M IT. Right? Am I right? So, you have to have that self-confidence. Anything that I do, I will have the right to take. Now, sensitivity. When I said sensitivity, you should always have sensitivity. You should be sensitive enough to what others feel about it. Right? Any project that you initiate, any project that you think of doing, should not hamper or should not demoralize. Right? So you have got to have that sensitivity approach. Next is consideration. You have got to consider various aspects. You need to consider opinion expressed by others. You have got to consider criticism. There are many aspects of consideration. Anything that comes out has to be considered and addressed to. Now, respect and love. If there is someone who says you are doing absolutely dirty job, right? As an entrepreneur, you are doing some task and somebody says you are doing a dirty job, right? Don't feel bad. Respect his opinion. Okay, and still reply back to him with the same passion. Right? Now, if my presentation to you doesn't make any sense, right? Today, what I'm talking, if it is not making any sense to you people, and if somebody says, no, what you're talking is meaningless, we don't want to listen to you. Yes, I need to respect your opinion because I'm not addressing your requirements. Am I right? I should not take in such a way that I have been called here and I am being insulted. No, that is not part of being an entrepreneur. I have to take that and make sure I address those concerns of those who are not interested. Of course, it is very difficult to meet the requirement of every individual here. But yes, majority should be in a position to accept what we talk. Well, the next part. You heard Anirudh saying that when you start up a business, when you start up some activity of yours, right? You borrow money from your parents and relatives, right? And there is the first capital funding. Now that has got to be out of concern. It has to be, you have to convince your family members, and also you have to make them accept the concept that you are trying to build up upon. That is the first stage of being a successful entrepreneur. Right? It is not that it is mandatory. Let me tell you, it is not that it is mandatory. You might shell out this part and then go out and become a successful entrepreneur. But then, to certain level of, you always have a mind block saying that my parents, my family members, my friends have rejected me. Will I be able to make it or not? That mind block is there in the initial stage. Right? But if you can convince your family members, tell them what you are doing, and if they accept it, then you get moral support. Now, once you have that type of this thing, then next comes is identification of opportunity. Not everybody is open to the line that you finally settle in. You start up being an entrepreneur. You might succeed or you might fail. If you fail, you choose the other one. If you fail again, you might choose the other one. Some of you might say, okay, I have tried 3 times, let me just leave it as it is and take up a job. Right? That's the end for him to be an entrepreneur. But then, you continue to succeed irrespective of n number of failures. One fine day, you will succeed. Right? And that I think is, you have all read it in your WhatsApp messages about fast food center. Which one? Who succeeded after 60 years? KFC, yes. You know that. So that's a good example of saying, keep making attempts so that everybody craves for what you do. Right? Now, why is it required? Opportunity, why is it required? Not everybody. Why do you need an opportunity? To show what you basically want to do. If Anirudh is here trying to do something, right? It is not that he has succeeded in all the attempts that he has made. Some products must have been rejected, am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
Some will have partially accepted, some will have been fully accepted. Okay. Now those which have been accepted partially will undergo review. Right? He makes some more corrections and then again puts it before him. Now this opportunity is quite important for you to be a successful entrepreneur. You have to identify that right opportunity. Now, who will benefit from my work? Now, sitting here, I need to say something on this part. What is the major problem that you basically feel is existing? Benefit from my work. Forget me addressing you as an entrepreneur, motivating you as an entrepreneur. But if you want to take up something, there has to be a problem. Right? There has to be a problem. There has to be a crave for people hunting out, waiting for that solution. Right? And you find out that solution and give it to them. So simple reason. Anirudh said, Agritech has still not picked up. Right? Now let me ask you, how many of you want fresh vegetables? Right? I see good number of hands coming up. Now, what is it? Coriander? Coriander. Right? How many of you get fresh coriander every day? right? You get fresh coriander. Huh? How fresh will it be the next day? Right? Now, what if you can create that in a tray? Take a tray, take mud, huh? Sow the seeds of coriander, keep it in a window. After a few days, you get coriander, right? Now, keep plucking those leaves every day as much as you want, right? Now, can this be done by everybody? It is not possible, right? So, here is an opportunity for you to hit upon it. It calls for no technical knowledge. Yes, it does call for some basic agricultural knowledge. Now, how do you manure this? You need to manure. Fertilization is important, right? Use your kitchen waste and use it. Right? You have two products. One is fresh vegetables and low discharge to society from your kitchen waste. Right? Now, this is how much of it is going to be accepted if at all you produce this. Present this to the society. What would be the capital cost? One tray, 120 or 150 rupees, huh? Or say a couple of trays, say 1000 rupees, right? One tray per day, right? Mud available to you free of cost, 10 or 20 rupees seeds, right? Now you are ready to churn out this. You are feeding with this one family. Are you getting my point? Now, how much of this is going to be accepted? Who are the beneficiaries? Huh? Who will benefit out of this? Every woman who prepares food. Right? Right? Or every man who makes his own food. Correct? So, do you find an opportunity in this? Do you find an opportunity or not? Well, knowledge. Well, I said something about coriander which has got no relevance to what you people have studied in your engineering, right? Reason, being an entrepreneur has got nothing to do with what you study. Right? These subjects that you are learning, the knowledge that is being imparted onto you by your teachers is the basics. Right? It is the basics. It is a guideline for you people to read the society requirements, to understand and come out with a solution. Right? So, it has got nothing to do with what you learn. It is basics of basics and it is conceptual. Like what I told you about coriander part, it is something which everybody wants it. And it is not as easy as I just now said to you. There are going to be a number of obstacles, problems, which you all need to have. Now, when I give this example of this coriander, right? Since you are all engineering graduates, you have little knowledge or no knowledge of what it is, how it is grown, what are its seeds. Okay, then what do? You need to have some contacts with where you can go and ask, okay, what is this process about? You have the need for it, right? You have the need for that particular commodity. You understand that, okay, I basically need this. This is what is basically being asked for by everybody. Sometimes you'll also feel when you take the coriander bunch and smell it, it has a foul smell. It's mainly because it has been washed in whichever water you call it as. Right? Now, if you want a solution for that, you know that there is a requirement, but you are not in a position to find a solution. So, you can have your contacts who can give you those guidelines. Then once he gives you a guideline, how do we address that? What quality of service can you render so that your product is accepted? To deliver that, what obstacles are you going to have? Like I said, sow the seeds in a tray, coriander is ready for you for consumption. Now, can you take this tray to every house? You are not here to just save that 5 or 10 rupees of the cost. You want to make millions, right? You need to employ more number of people who come into your network. You need to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is not just being a self-sufficient businessman. It is creating wealth, creating opportunities, creating employment, right? So if you have to multiply, you have a delivery mechanism which needs to be put in place. If you need to have a delivery mechanism, you need to come across traffic problems. Of course, now you have drone who can help you to deliver that. Then comes the costing. So all these things will basically have to be decided, addressed by yourself. Now, Andrew has already told you about finance, right? He has already told you about finance. Now, why do you need finance? If you don't have money, nothing can work. Is there anything that can work if you don't have money? Huh? At least you need some amount of time, which also is money. You may not have a penny in your pocket, but to earn the first penny, you need to have time and energy within you to earn the first penny. Right? Then who can fund you? When you fund, nobody wants to just give out money to you. He wants it back in return. Now you have to choose a mechanism in such a way that your interests are taken care of. You do all the hardship, somebody comes out, buys it and then goes back. Again you are bankrupt the next day. You have nothing to do. So when you do this, you have to take care of your own safe mechanism and risk. What if you fail? What if you fail in delivering what is supposed to be delivered by you? All your credentials, self-respect, your time, almost you can say your life goes for sex. No, you need to be ready to take this risk. Now, last two was bankruptcy and broke. What is bankruptcy? To me, if you look at it in a broad sense, both are the same. But bankruptcy is in the books of accounts, you don't have money to repay. But when you say broke, you don't have even a pipe in your pocket to meet your own two ends meet. Right? Now all this calls for a proper planning, strategy. When you plan, you need to have a strategy as to how you are going to do it. Once you do this, you will need to review and review. Right? Once you review your own plan, you will have to discuss. Right? Discuss with whom? With all the stakeholders. With your friends, with your family members, with all the funding agencies, with whom you are very close to. Then consider the recommendations that have been made by them. Execute. Watch, review, refine, confirm, and then cash. Now I'll give an example in this particular case. How many of you know that smoking within the premises in Germany is totally banned? Huh? How many of you know that it's totally banned even in India? Huh? We are not supposed to smoke inside a building. Right? See, India and Germany are two different countries. I said different countries, not just because they are two different It is because Germany is a cold country and India is a warm tropical country. Right? Now, if people stop smoking in Germany, they have a different issues. Nothing happens to us because we are basically into warm environmental conditions. People smoke there just to cope up with the harsh conditions that are prevailing there. Right? Not because they need to smoke. They smoke because they want to keep the body warm. Right? Now, when Germany decided that we are going to come in with this particular law that smoking inside the building is banned. Now, they had to really consider the effects that could come up after the ban. Because your body has to tune up to that particular requirement. Right? Now, when this was launched, when this concept of, when the planning was being discussed, they worked out a strategy as to how it has to be brought in. Right? So, they said from so and so date, ban smoking. Now, this time given was time lapse from the date of announcing strategy to the date of effectiveness was 10 years. How many years? 10 years. So people had an opportunity to tell their grievances. People had an opportunity to change their way of lifestyle. People, they knew that okay, from this particular day we are going to stop smoking inside the premises. So I need to build up my own immunity in such a way that I don't have to crave for smoking inside the building. Right? Now, this was open for 10 years. Government evaluated their feedback. They reviewed their inputs and discussed as to in what way we could probably address that.